Three, two, one. Again, welcome back to the Coco Convo Corner. We're here with episode 4. Just to be honest with you, it's been some technical difficulties, but we are working through it. I am your host, Coco, and I am here with two Coco hosts. Coco hosts.
Oh, you did something there. You did something
I,
there.
I did something there right off the dome. And there are two guys that are very near and dear to me, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So, Jonathan.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Jonathan, also known as Jonathan One Ton, and I guess like Cole said, I'm someone that's very near and dear to the two people on this podcast, man. Wow, this is really like low-key surreal because we really do go way back.
Like the
It's
other
like
side
four
of the
flags on a
pillow.
Cadillac.
Like all that. Like both of those.
I mean, well, y'all have no choice. Y'all are blood, so
I mean, but just the friendship triangle in general. It's been a long time, man.
I know it's like it's been 25 years
That's
in the
crazy.
making. Can't you believe that you could say something that was 25 years ago and then
I
you were born
know.
25 years ago?
Man, long
And
friendships
now,
are
now you
impressive.
trying to compute 25 years? Was that what you were doing?
Did you see my head?
You
I
was
started
like, oh
doing
my
the
God.
mental math. I know y'all can't see us, but I started doing the mental math. I'm like,
Okay,
hold up. I'm over here with
maybe
my
not, maybe
notebook,
not,
writing
maybe
down
not
years.
25, but still, it feels like 25.
It's
See,
been a
and
Will.
Jerome
long
got on a
time.
Black Panther shirt.
Yeah,
Let's let
everything
him
in my
introduce
apartment.
himself. Y'all just
I'm
have a
sorry.
conversation. And
I'm
we
sorry.
also have another Coco co-host. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. My name is Jarrell Mack. I am also a podcaster. I have a podcast named Guys Talk To. It is dedicated to healthy conversations. And it's for black men, but that does not mean anyone cannot listen to it. Focus on mental health and other healthy conversations that we can have. I also work in education, higher education specifically. And the greats. Okay, let me not go. Let me not say that
Mm,
because I about to say the great state of me, but oh no. I'm also
Cut that
a
out, please.
student. Yes, I'm also a student. And so yeah, I'm just glad to be here with my family to talk about things that I love. So
We're glad
yeah,
to
thank you for
have
having me.
you. Thank you.
hooray.
We're definitely glad to have you. Speaking of things that we love, today we're going to be talking about fictional places within well, obviously it's fictional, comic book locations, superhero locations. And it was recently revealed to me that my co-hosts are more Marvel people than DC. So instead of just being DC based, it might just be fictional location basis. But basically, I wanted to get into why citizens choose to live in superhero cities. And the main ones like DC would be like Gotham, Metropolis, Central City. So if you watch The Flash, if you watch Arrow, if you watch Batman, Superman Adventures, then that's where mainly these locations are hoisted. Can you all think of any like popular like Marvel cities? Or no, Marvel cities are just real life cities, correct?
Yeah, they're real
Yeah,
life cities.
they're actual cities.
Dang, I never really
Yeah,
thought
But
about
I mean, you
that.
can call it like you can call it a universe, like a Marvel universe.
Yeah,
yeah,
DC
cause
universe, Marvel universe. And I wanted to get into why citizens choose to stay there. And my initial thought was these have to be low income areas, or these have to be places where it's like you don't have a choice. Like buildings are being destroyed, families are being unalived, property destruction. Like I feel like you have to be living in these cities because you don't have an alternative. So what are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Like, there has to be some incentive for living so because even if you think about like our lives, like I live in and one thing I love about is that the crime rate is virtually zero. And so even like as I'm looking at other places to like move to, I want the same thing. Like I want the crime rate to be virtually zero. I feel like that's a big factor in where people live. So even like if you look at it from like a superhero city standpoint, There just has to be some great incentive for living in these places.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because even up here, I live in this place where the crime it's supposed to be one of the safest places in America, but I guess.
And even if
The,
I had a superhero that was like patrolling my city and it was like deemed safe, I still wouldn't live there because he's like the superhero is like a target
I
for
mean, and
people.
then
That's
the
true.
way Superman be throwing himself into buildings, you can be having Sunday dinner, and next thing you know, Superman is like literally in your
Right.
kitchen.
Yeah,
It's
he
like
don't care about us
Yeah.
either.
he
I mean, what
don't.
he can't control him being tossed around. Like, what y'all want him to
I
do?
mean, I feel like he needs to, since he is Superman, why don't he toss somebody out the city? How about he toss them to, I was about to
Right.
cuss. Why don't he toss them to Smallville? Like, I don't understand why, toss them to the country.
And
Like, don't be,
I feel like Goku cared about us because Goku every time Goku was about to fight somebody, he's like, "Let's go to a peaceful place. Let's go to Planet Namek and do battle." But
No,
like,
that's all selfishness. Goku wants to go all out and test his own strength. He not caring about the
and
people. He just wants to make sure he can do this without
he
well,
definitely said
killing
that to
other
protect the
people.
people. Superman is
No,
gonna
it's so
fight
that
and
he
throw.
doesn't receive repercussions from killing other people and not having to find the Dragon Balls to revive them every other episode. That's what he's trying to prevent. Another
Superman is
Dragon
picking
Ball
up
surge
cars and throwing them
and
at the
also,
enemies.
and
Superman
missing.
has, right, missing. That's
No,
the key
they're
point.
catching it. He's not missing. They're catching it and tossing it back.
Is he paying insurance?
Superman?
Mm.
And see, that's a whole nother thing. See, don't get me started. I
No,
feel like
please.
Superman has a moral conscience because Superman just kill him. Why are we doing this?
Just kill him.
Why are we doing this?
Hey,
I understand in the comic books he killed Joker, but like you doing too much. Like why if you just kill them, they won't come back. But no.
But that's not even just a Superman conscious thing. It's also because remember in one of the latest movies, like they don't want Superman to feel like he could just do whatever, because then they're gonna be looking at him like, "Oh, you think you can kill us? Like lock him up." Oh, he can't kill people even if he wants to.
I mean, or you could just kill Superman. I mean,
But then who is
They
going
tried
to
that.
protect these areas that need
Wonder
protection? That have the
Woman.
high
Wonder Woman here, Hawkeye, not Hawkeye, what's his name? Hawk, Green Lantern. Get some, that's why I don't mess with DC because they got too many aliens. See, okay, my bad.
I don't care about Earth.
technically
Exactly.
Right, they don't care about Earth. Don't
they
care about Earth.
do. They try to. It's just that also they bring whatever alien mess with them. Like we
Oh,
have the people from the Phantom Zone coming, the Amazonians, like their enemies come to Earth. That's one of my main issues. It's like it's one thing you stopping robbers and murderers, but bringing your people to Earth is not okay. Keep
It's
your
not
villains
okay.
on your planet. That's how I feel about that.
yeah, and then, so going back to your question, why do they live here? Why do they live here? They're stuck. They can't go nowhere else. Gotham, the only way in and out of Gotham is through a bridge, and I'm pretty sure they lift that bridge up so you can't leave. So that's the only way. I mean, it makes no sense because why would anybody in their right mind stay in a place where the Joker is about to bomb up everything? You know that Poison Ivy is about to make everything turn into a plant. Mr. Freeze is about to
Like
freeze
poison ivy.
anything. And then you got a crazy psycho, a scarecrow out here making you hallucinate. Then you got Bane, and then you got a kingpin penguin out here crazy. Like what is happening? Like why are you
Perhaps
here?
perhaps these people are just loyalists to their respective
city?
cities. Because if you look at
Exactly.
Wakanda, for example, the Wakandas love Wakanda, and they'll do anything. They'll fight for Wakanda.
That's
And
true.
that's the issue.
What's the issue that they want to provide for their city and rep their city?
The issue is the fact that like when danger comes, you like, oh, let me stay. Like not Wakanda specifically because they tried to be off the map, but
They did.
with Gotham, that city be on fire. The Batman starts off and then the city is already on fire. It's like, what is going on?
He's only one person though, and usually
And
when
he
we
a
see
human.
right, and he's human. He only has his. I feel like okay. Side note or sidebar, even though it's relevant, I feel like Bruce does not get enough like kudos for being a human, like a human, just a human with a lot of money. Like he's fighting all these people with all these superpowers, and only so much armor and so much kryptonite can really protect you, and so much bulletproof whatever can really protect you. So I want to give him an extra shout out because like you're human and you're like going head to head with these aliens.
Let's give it up for Bruce, man.
Give it up for Bruce.
Let's give it up for Bruce. Because he really doesn't get enough. It's a thankless job for him, unfortunately.
Him and stuff, and I'm like, y'all don't even understand. He got a contingency plan to kill all y'all, excuse me, to unalive all y'all, including himself. You know what I mean? He's like, in case even I get crazy or something happens to me, this is how I'm gonna end me. So I appreciate him and his thoroughness and his forward thinking in regards to that. I was gonna say one reason I could think to live in Gotham or like maybe Metropolis or Central City is that maybe if it okay, so outside of being like loyal to my city and loyal to where I grew up, or like my mom's house was burned here, my dad's car was thrown here. It's like loyal in that way. And I'm thinking, okay, well maybe like these shots, like even if we cross over to like Marvel, like Jonah Jameson, maybe they're paying a lot of money for these celebrity shots or to
Exactly.
figure out like where these people, what you say?
So exactly. Money.
Or to figure out where these people live or who they are. So there's that whole mystery thing. I can see a business being made for like doing tour guides. So here's where Batman defeated the Joker the 150th time. Here's where the Joker gas masked everybody and they were laughing for 3 weeks straight. Here's where, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like a lot of good business ideas in chaos. I feel like that's another thing. So business, one, money, two. What other reasons would there be to live in these chaotic places?
Ain't enough business or money in the world to make me live there. If we're honestly speaking, like if I had to live there and I had to give an answer as to why, it'd definitely be rent. But like, I mean, would you live in Russia, in present day Russia, where like there's like wars and stuff going on and nukes can just come and blow you up? There's absolutely no reason for me to like want to live in a war country. So the same for
These aren't like warring cities though. It's just like it's just like every day where we live currently. Like we have people unaliving people, we have crimes being committed. So how is that different from like a central city that we may all live close to?
The difference is it's worse because the writer is gonna write in destruction because they need a new episode to come out.
Well, isn't God the writer of life and he writes in destruction as well?
Yes, but he doesn't need a new episode to come out.
You don't think God gets bored up there?
Good sprinkle.
I don't think he gets bored.
He said, "You know what? Them humans, they need some more crime. Let's go ahead and let me make some more criminals."
Dale's been alive for a little too long.
Right.
Trust me.
Let's see what they would do with a whole bunch of crickets around.
Right,
I want to see y'all this episode. It was this little mini series I watched yesterday, and like every episode is like a new story retelling, but they don't go past like 20 minutes. But one of the two stories retellings was like it's called God, and so it's like really, really zoomed in, and you see these people, then it zooms out, and you see the buildings, then the city, then the world, and it zooms out to the point where you see like God on a lounge chair, like reading a newspaper, and he has like a butler, like an Alfred or whatever. And so he's like, okay, give them some rain. He's like, what are they doing? And the butler's like, oh, I think they're rain dancing. They want rain. And he's like, okay, give them some. Butler gets a spray bottle and he sprays the bottle on them, and they're like, oh yeah, rain, rain, rain. Then like the starts growing, and God is like, oh, look at them, they're learning fire, then civilization, all this other good stuff. Passes down, starts reading his paper, and he's like, spray the plague. But Butler's like, are you sure, sir? And he's like, spray the plague. So God, he goes into the container, he sprays the plague, everybody starts dying. But it was just very surreal. I'm like, this is an interpretation, and I know this is not the main topic, but it was like, this is an interpretation of, like what someone would view as maybe God doing. And I'm like, it's not far to me. You know what I mean? Or even when he discovered the fire, he was like, aren't they early? And the dude was like, yeah, they're like 1,000 years early. He's like, okay, put it out. So he like is fanning the city, the fire out. But yeah, I felt like that was relevant, even though it was a tangent.
No, it's hilarious. It reminds me of that one. I think it was either TikTok or Instagram, where the girl is playing God,
and she's like meteor.
Yeah. And what did they say? They was like make something
Meaty.
meatier.
Yeah, she said he said send make the dinosaurs meteor. And
Like
Yeah.
then
bulky.
she was like
Like,
meteor. And he said meteor. She said meteor.
Oh yeah.
She said meteor.
That's funny. But I mean
But
that it is interesting how we kind of like assign human attributes to God. It is comical at best, in my
I'm pretty
opinion.
sure he enjoys us since he has a sense of humor.
He does have a
Uh,
sense of humor, that's for sure.
listen, he sure does, and I don't like it. I don't like it not one bit. But anyway, this Reddit article, whatever person said, Gotham has 5,316.6 crimes per 100,000 people in a given year. Um, which is I don't know what that means.
Wait.
But
Yeah, what does that mean? I mean, that's a huge statistic, even not knowing what it means. Because it's essentially saying 5,000 crimes per 100,000 people in a year.
yes.
I don't feel like that's a
So
lot over a year. 5,000 crimes per 100,000 people does not sound like a lot to me for a whole year.
What's the population
nah,
of
100,000.
Gotham?
I feel like I feel like I feel like Gotham's population should be like 50,000 people. To be honest, I'm like, y'all are still alive. Y'all are some troopers. Y'all troopers for real. They like, oh
Survivors.
no. And they're like, oh yeah, we get shit outs every day. Oh, this is a random Tuesday. You know
Right.
what?
They're acclimated.
they
They're
just
acclimated.
ignore it. They have systems in place. They know what to do. They know what to do. Oh, a building exploded. Yep, we know the drill. This is the every third Tuesday a building gonna explode. We good.
Well, that's
We
the
good to
other
go.
thing too. Like you
Uh,
kind of get, I would assume you would get used to the chaos or you're more prepared and more cautious because it's like, okay, at least teach me how to survive it.
right. I mean, I think they, like you said, they're just numb to it, and it's kind of like y'all almost like military people. Y'all almost like used to being in a war zone. It's like I don't think that
Mhm.
that's good. Or better yet, people in the hood. Like y'all just ignore gunshots. Like these like they're fireworks. And it's like that's not okay. Y'all need to go speak to somebody because y'all that's not healthy.
You feel me?
Um and I
I'm
don't know
kind of
what the people of
practicing.
Metropolis be doing.
What you mean?
Cause I don't know. I feel like Metropolis is always sunny. And I think we talked about at one point like a facade and like how everything is just like oh it looks cool it looks calm cool and collected but the next thing you know Superman is like in your living room because he's fighting Brainiac or something and
Right.
it's like what is going on like how are y'all building these buildings quickly like
Quick.
Superman is literally being thrown through this building and
Right.
here come Wonder Woman trying to help and she getting thrown into the concrete. Like, do you know how long it takes to fix a street? And they are
It
Right.
takes a
literally
long
getting
time.
punched in the face through the cement in the middle of the street. Like they still building what's the name? Oh my gosh, now I'm losing all of my
85,
Candler
letter.
Road.
75,
They've been
920.
Keller
Candler
Road since
Road. There we
1975. They've been working on Keller Road since 1975 with no end in
Oh, I'm
sight.
losing all my Atlanta-ness. Oh, be not being in it no more. I don't forgot everything. But it's like it's ridiculous. It's like why do y'all live in places with superheroes? Y'all think y'all are being protected, but at what say like at what's the cost? Like y'all are living here just to have Superman being in your living room every other day. It makes no sense.
Hey
It makes
man,
zero sense.
the reality is they don't have a choice.
I mean, right. And it's like, but I feel
Right.
like people for some
It's
reason,
because
people in Metropolis to me seem like they have money. I don't know why. It
Metropolis just
just
sounds like a place
It
where
just
people
sounds like a
live there.
paradise. Yeah, it sounds like
Right.
a yeah, because the list Metropolis. Yeah, it just sounds like it's
Metropolis.
a paradise, and really, they definitely have chaotic stuff going on all the time too.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask y'all: do y'all feel like there's any superhero who could do more and has like decided to like chill out or not do as much as they should be doing? Like, is there another a superhero where you like you could be doing more? You could have prevented that. Anything like that?
I feel like there are several of those. Kind of
Like
like
who?
late,
Who
but
comes
those
to
they're
mind?
normally like young. So the first person that comes to mind is Iceman, but from X-Men Evolution, Iceman.
Hmm.
And really all those like young, irresponsible mutants that like have powers, but are too like I guess like in their feelings in terms of like hormones and emotions and all that stuff. So they don't I don't know, I feel like they don't have like a focus on like saving people. They aren't in their superhero role. They're still like discovering their power. So I would say like any superhero that is like young, you know what I'm saying? In like in their superhero dumb, if that makes sense.
Yeah, let me rephrase the question. What seasoned trained superhero do you feel like could be doing more, but it's just kind of like
In that
chilling?
case.
Because I feel like I feel you on the X-Men Xavier Institute people, but I also am like they're
Hmm.
coming into their power. Like I'm not expecting them to be like out here like Superman, Batman going straight to the front lines. But there are even times where I'm like, could Batman and Superman be doing more? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a good question. You see me pondering because I'm really trying to think on who I think can do more. I think, to be fair, I think Batman is doing a lot. Because Batman is a human and he can only be in one place
Yeah.
at one time. Versus someone like Superman who can fly at the speed of light. He can be he can fight one person, beat them up over here, and fly to fight somebody else over there. I think I think I can't compare those two. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know who could be doing
I
more.
feel like Tony Stark comes to mind, but then I think
Who?
about Tony Stark, Iron
Iron
Man.
Man.
Oh yeah.
I think about like, I mean, obviously he's not doing anything anymore, but when he was doing things,
Spoiler
he was
alert.
pretty active.
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now,
You have to
Some
see it.
people haven't.
I mean, it's about to be like it's about to be 10 years. Like, go ahead and go
People
watch it.
haven't.
If
I
that's a
actually
spoiler,
have 2
then
points. I mean, it could be a spoiler. Some people haven't. I just had like a movie day the other week with some friends who haven't seen movies that came out like more than 20 years ago. So, yeah. But
they
I
don't
have
know
2
Batman's
points.
parents died.
No, it's not related to the Marvel or DC universes. Okay, one thing I feel about Batman, I'm like, yeah, he does the most and he does a lot, especially being a human. However, I feel like he has a control issue or an issue with delegating tasks or like helping with the Justice League or having, Batgirl come on or working with other people. And I'm like, if you would delegate some other responsibilities, I feel like we would have a better team, well-suited team, well, and we don't have to wait for Nightwing and then Robin number 5 and then Dick Grayson or Red Doom or whoever. We don't have to wait for all these things to happen if you would delegate some of those tasks. That's how I feel about Batman. Like if you were more of a team player, we could get more done. It doesn't have to just be you saving the city every time.
I disagree. I agree with you saying that if he would be more of a team player. I agree with that part, but I
Hmm.
disagree in the sense of him delegating things because he definitely delegates. Now it may not be the task that they want to have, but he does delegate because he was the one giving Young Justice their task. Batman's issue is Batman is self-indulged. It's like he's selfish.
What
Like
you mean?
everything. I feel like he has his own secret motives for what he wants. His focus is always, I need to get Joker. I need to get Joker. I need to get Joker. Anyone who gets in his way of Joker is going to drive. It's insane. Like every villain that he fights, I feel like they're just side pieces. It's like, get out my way. My real focus is this one person. And I need to get him. And I think everything for him is just self gain. Like he wants to. He has some secret motive because of his parents, and he just needs to get vengeance on everybody bad because his parents passed away. But I don't think that he has. I don't think he has an issue with delegating things. I just think he has like.
But that's low key like the main character or superhero complex. Like a lot of times, it's like
What part?
Spider-Man. Well, them trying to get like vengeance because a relative or a parent passed away. Spider-Man and Uncle Ben, Aaron from Attack on Titan, and his mom.
But that's
Yeah,
only
it's
a
definitely part of
surface
a lot of
too.
origin stories. It's definitely a part of a lot of origin stories like loss and vengeance.
Yeah, it's
I
a
will say
trope.
this. Yeah, it is a trope. I will say this. I know I'm gonna disagree with your disagreement, and that's fine. But I don't feel like whenever I see Batman, it's a lot of times it's I gotta do this because I'm Batman. And that's what it is. Like I gotta
Yeah,
do this. I gotta take control of this. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do this by yourself. And yeah, you're right. He did delegate tasks to Young Justice or even serve as a reference to some of the Titans from time to time, or even when he was helping Terry from Batman Beyond, he was delegating and whatnot. But even then, that was like a push and pull. Like Terry's like, let me handle it, old man, or let me do this, let me do that. And he just feels like he has to control everything. The other thing I don't necessarily agree with is like his reasoning for doing things. I do agree that Batman feels like I'm Batman and my way is the right way, but I've
I
never
agree
seen
with
him
that.
do something. I've never seen him do something where he's like, I'm doing this because I want to. It's always like
Right.
y'all might look at it and be like, "Oh, you're being selfish, Bruce." But I do believe his intention and his ultimate goal is always, how can I protect everybody? But his methods towards getting there are questionable. It's kind of like villains. Like a lot of times, I agree with what the villains are trying to do. It's just how they're doing it. Where I'm like, nah. Like even like Thanos when he was like, "It's too many people on this world," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's too many people on this world. I'ma snap and kill everybody." I don't think you should do that.
Well,
But I
hold up.
understand your concern.
But and then also that goes back to Batman not being a hero, Batman being a vigilante,
Right, you're
because
right.
he's more of an anti-hero than he is an actual hero, which is the issue in a lot of the movies. It's kind of like, sir, you are a criminal. You are going against the police to do crime. You're causing more crime than good. Like it's like you're everything that you do is not okay. Like we're happy that you're helping us, but the method,
Yeah.
like you said, the method that you are doing it is all wrong. It's all wrong. You don't need to be doing any of this stuff. At least not this way.
I agree with that.
Going back to the original question though, who can do more? I do feel like
Yeah.
Beast Boy and Cyborg could definitely do a lot more.
Oh,
Beast Boy, yes.
Beast Boy.
Cyborg, especially if we looking at the Teen Titans versions of them. But
Yeah.
Beast Boy for sure, because I just feel like he's just chilling. Like he's just trying to be the comic relief all the time. And I'm like, dude, you gotta put in some work.
He has such a dope power that I feel like it's just underused.
It is,
Underutilized.
and it's crazy because they didn't in Teen Titans they didn't use Cyborg's power to his full capacity because
Hmm.
he's a technopath. So he can
Yes.
control technology, and I don't think he ever controlled technology in Teen Titans. And it was kind of like,
No. It
what's
just made him
happening?
seem like he was like a RoboCop, and I'm like, he can do so much more. And they explore it in the the live action series, him and in the movies. But yeah, like they definitely downplayed him, and I kind of wonder why they do that. I don't know if it's
Hmm.
a certain hero.
Uh, uh, uh.
Hmm. I think we know why. Your complexion a little bit darker than it need to be.
You can't have too many powers. Slow your roll. Slow
I mean,
your
because
roll.
they do the same thing with Storm because
Yes.
Storm is an Omega level mutant. Storm
Yes.
can literally destroy planets and galaxies.
Yes.
And what did they make her do? Shoot lightning bolts out of her hands. Okay.
And get shot down several
Okay.
times. And I'm like, this is Storm. Or I'm not gonna mispronounce her name, but the big O.
Aurora?
This is Storm. This is it Aurora? I thought it was Aurea something else.
No, it's
But
Aurora.
It's Aurora.
okay. But it's spelled with the O instead of an A, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Ororo.
Okay, if it's Aurora, then cool. That's beautiful. Know the A word. But yeah, Storm like a mega level mutant, and they played her to the left. Even when they had her, who was it, Halle Berry teaching, I was like, teaching? You need to be out there.
Yes, sir.
Needs to be out here putting in. What do they have her in this teaching facility for? But yeah.
There you go. Like her powers are like really like insane. Like she can literally take the lungs, the air out of your lungs. Like it's
Oh, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
It is.
she's a witch. She's the witch
Yep.
The
of
weather
the
witch.
elements. Yeah, weather witch. There we go. I was about to say
Yep.
element. So she
He
can
definitely played her.
definitely do that, and she can like remove gravity. It's like crazy. Like her powers are like out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that she can do more, but like she like if they use her in the cartoons that they need to be using her, yeah, she definitely could. But Beast Boy, he definitely could. I found so many uses like Beast Boy. Why don't you just turn into an ant and just crawl into somebody? I'm always trying to.
Right.
I'm always trying to kill off somebody. But I'm just saying, if we really need to go there, I'm about to turn into a
Can
fly.
Can he
and
die
just,
that way though? Like if he got stepped on as an ant, is he just dead? He
I would
doesn't have
assume
any
so.
sort of like super strength.
But ants have like what they can hold up like 10 times their weight or something crazy.
But like, if I
About
step on an
foot.
ant right now, right? If I step on an ant right now, it's dead. It is dead. So I
That's
advise him to quickly turn into something different.
Yeah.
You might want to turn into a spider while they sleep and then crawl into them. Like, sir, he was doing the most stupidest stuff. It's like I'm about to turn into a big bear, sir.
Right.
Like,
I'm gonna turn into a dinosaur, but you got T-Rex arms now and you can't
right?
control.
It makes no sense. Turn to a hippopotamus, something that's going to be a threat. People scared of hippos.
Not a hippopotamus. Do y'all have any villains or villains that you resonate with? Or like I gave the Thanos example, not that I resonate with him, but any of them where you like, I understand where you going with this, even though you were, shouldn't have been doing this. Any villains where you're like, I can see what drove you to that.
You're asking really good questions on the spot, and I'm kind of like,
I know.
There's
I do.
so
Okay,
many
I
villains.
do want to. There is a moment in Marvel history that I want to address. So y'all remember when Captain America and Bucky were beating the brakes off of Iron Man? Do y'all feel like Iron Man was within his rights, or were you team Captain America and Bucky for that situation where they found out his parents were killed by Bucky, but Bucky, it wasn't his will. He wasn't his own control.
I really hate. I don't hate. Let me not say that. I really don't like Iron Man, and the fact that I had to be on Iron Man's side for that really was like, I was like, y'all really gonna make me be on Iron Man's side? But no, he was well in his right. It's like, sorry, you killed my parents. Oh, it wasn't his fault. And like, oh, Captain America, get on my nerves. It's my bestie. Okay, but your bestie is a murderer. So now I'm about to like. Now I'm mad at both of you. So I think Iron Man was definitely well in his right to do that.
Okay. Jonathan?
Yeah. So this is a personal thing for me. I never liked the romanticizing, or okay, I won't say romanticizing, but the empathizing with villains. I'm not really a huge fan of it. On more of like a moral tip than like
You're saying this is like across the board, or is this specific for certain
across the
egregious
board.
behaviors?
Yeah, across the board. Nah, not even speaking about anything like specifically, because I don't know, just like good and evil. Always like the concept of like good always wins.
But
But
also,
yeah,
who's determining what's good and what's not?
sure. That's a great question.
Because
I
in
guess
their
the
perspective,
writers,
like I said, they feel like, where the villains might feel like I'm doing this, but in their perspective, it might be a good thing to do or the right thing to do.
right. And I feel like it's wrong when lives are lost, and that's always been a common trope in superhero shows and movies. It's like we want to protect humanity and we don't want anybody getting hurt. And that's why, like, the example I would also give of a villain that's like, I kind of see where you're coming from is Thanos. Because I mean, he's right. Like population, and even his standpoint was humanity was flawed in that there didn't really need to be like, you know what I'm saying, like the continuation of humanity. So he wanted to cut it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, you have good intentions, but you're going about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just I like the good versus evil fight, and this is growing up playing video games, we're always the protagonists. and the protagonist always wins, and it's a happily ever after, like a great ending. But I feel like more modernly, the lines are kind of blurred, and it's
Uh-huh.
almost like people are given the option to choose. Like, hey, like, do you want to
Yep.
be good or evil? And it's just like,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I do wonder how it's affecting us morally, but it's not super deep. It's just a personal thing for me.
I mean,
But I mean, it
because
can be deep. Because even when, sorry, Drew, real quick, I was gonna say, but like you said, even now, because you were saying the good versus evil, but I can think of several games right now where I'm like, you can choose either to be a villain or to, create your own path, or even like those Goosebumps books, like, oh, turn to page 8 if you want to do this, turn to page 20 if you want to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like to choose your path
Mhm.
as you go, kind of thing. And sometimes that'll move you closer to a wizard. Sometimes it'll move you closer to Dementor. You know what I mean? Just depending on the
Yes.
choices you make throughout the games.
Facts, man.
yeah, I mean, because going back to what Jonathan said, I think that it also depends, like you said, like why are they a villain, quote unquote? For instance, Sandman, in Spider-Man 3, his whole purpose of being a quote unquote villain was to save his daughter.
Hmm.
Now, once again, how he went about it may have been wrong, but I mean, he was doing it because he was trying to help save someone that he loved. He didn't have he didn't have the funds, the means to to save his daughter or help his daughter. So with these powers that he had, he was going to do it by any means necessary to save his daughter. Now, someone say, "Oh, you're you're a villain, you're bad." And it's kind of like, well, no, what I'm doing is good because
Hmm.
I'm not trying to hurt anybody.
Hmm.
You, Spider-Man, are standing in the way for me trying to save my daughter. Like, get out!
Hmm.
Any
Yeah.
father would do this. Any father would do this to save their child. Just like John Q, he was trying to do anything to save his son.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm doing this. But then there's like people who are like who have no motives, who just want to do just wants to do bad things just because they want
Right.
to do bad things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they
And that's what
can.
I was gonna say. Like, there is a difference between an antagonist and a villain. Because I feel like a villain is what you described in the latter part of what you were saying. Like, they just don't care. They just want to do evil. I want to take over the
Mhm.
world. Like, I want money, and I want, like, it's greed. I feel like if it's driven by greed, then it's villainous. But like you mentioned, like, a lot of people do things with motives, and like the movie starts, and then you see, what I'm saying, not where they started, but you see kind of like where they are, like Sandman. And then you see him trying to kill Spider-Man, and you see this big old creature and this monster. You're like, ah, that's the villain. Ah, he's
Right.
bad.
Mhm.
But you know what I'm saying? He has a reason and a motive for what he's doing. So I guess maybe this conversation has helped me reframe that whole like ideal of the you know empathizing with villains, but more
Mhm.
so understand, like, trying to get an understanding and context as to why people do what they do and
Mhm.
how to start and how did they get there type stuff. So
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
because
That's
people love Loki, and it's kind of like, and Loki is deemed as a villain, and it's kind of like he also changed from being a
yeah,
villain to being literally a good guy, quote unquote, and we know why Loki did what he did because he was born to do that. He was born. He's the god of mischief.
yeah,
trickster. Yeah.
Um, so that's what he does. He can't help it but do that. But at the same time, if you mess with his brother, he's going to try to hurt you because he's like, well, I did grow up with him. I may not like him all the time, but he's still like my brother.
that's fam.
Um, and he's gonna do whatever. Like when Thanos was there and he saw he had Thor, he was gonna try to kill Thanos, but it backfired.
Right.
But versus somebody like Joker, who's just doing crazy things because he just, like you said, John, like I'm doing this for greed and selfish
Hmm.
ways and stuff.
I hear
Courtney, you had
y'all, but
another
I
question.
can go ahead.
Oh no, mind. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I hear y'all, but I can give you guys, and I'm not trying to say like or convert you all to be like villain empathizers or sympathizers, but there's even an interpretation where Joker, basically the same thing that happened to Bruce happened to Joker, and so but it was from like an affluent family, I believe, so that's why he turned to crime. So I'm just like I'm always interested in like the villain origin stories, not necessarily to like I said, become an empathizer or sympathizer for villains or like root for them or anything, but just trying to figure out what got you here because I don't feel like
Yeah,
woke up one day and was like, "Hey, laughing gas the whole city." You know what I mean? Like what
yeah,
brought
Yeah.
you to this point? That's what I want to find out and learn.
yeah. But Joker's also a psychopath.
True. He
So
be in Arkham all the time and be breaking out all the time.
yeah, so that's also a thing. But no, I agree like with you about the I want to know their origin stories, which is why I mean, but Disney also try to make villains good guys, which kind of pisses me off a little bit. Like, cause they definitely made Maleficent um a good person. I was kind of like, just why can't we just get a villain just to be a villain? Why can't they just be evil and we just love
Right.
it? Like, I want them now since we have the Little Mermaid. It's like, okay, now y'all need to go ahead and give us a Ursula backstory. Why her and Triton beefing? Now y'all giving us Cruella, but I need Cruella to be cuckoo. I need her. I need that Cruella.
And Ursula,
Um,
she did say it in the movie.
she did.
And
I
yeah,
I
this
want
it's
to.
not a spoiler, but it's pretty much, the sibling rivalry if she felt like she wasn't the favorite and she got treated poorly and Trident got treated, well, and he got the
Mhm.
the
I want to
spotlight and
see it.
everything.
I want to see it. I want y'all to. I want y'all to put this on film.
See it.
I need to see
Yeah.
this. I need to go ahead and see this
Yeah.
on how you turn from a mermaid to an octopus. I
A
know that there's
little-
like a little. I know there's a clip that show it, but I need to see it. But anyway, back to superheroes. Courtney, you had another question. You said you had a two-part question.
I don't remember the other one, but I was gonna say I like the Disney interpretations of the villains as well. I guess I don't really see Maleficent as a good person, but I like I said, we got her background, so I'm like, okay, I see why you are how you are. And Disney also, well, I don't think it's an actual Disney product, but like there are these books that do give you the background for like
Oh, Twisted
Hook
Tales.
for yeah for they have a couple of different ones, but yeah, Twisted Tales is a good series for Hook, for Ursula, for Scar. And it's like again not sympathizing or empathizing, but like we only get the perspective of the hero, right? We only get the perspective of the primary character and their view. So like yeah, to see it from the other person's view, and they some a lot of times feel like who we think is the hero is their villain in their life is really interesting to
Yeah.
see.
That
Which
is very, very interesting.
you're the villain in someone's story. I actually have that book.
Always.
Lost
I
Always.
have
Boy.
it.
Did you enjoy it? Would you recommend it? Oh yeah, you do have it. Lost Boy.
Me and my friends read it. My friend, okay, they read. I didn't finish it, but I know what happens.
Hold up.
Uh, but yeah, I started school, so I couldn't. I didn't finish it. So
Okay.
we was like in the last 5 chapters or whatever. They finished it, but I thought it was really interesting. Because I think everyone tells the same story about Peter Pan and Captain Hook
Hmm.
and how it started. Like Peter Pan is actually the real villain because Peter did
Yep.
not want anybody to grow up.
Leave.
Um,
Yep.
and that's the premise of this whole book. That Peter is the villain and Peter lies and he didn't want those kids to leave and he kidnapped them and stuff like that. So it
Hmm.
talks about that all in here and it makes sense because then when you see Hook, I don't know if y'all seen Peter and Wendy, but it all makes sense because in that movie they kind of tell the origin story of like Hook and Peter's relationship and stuff like that. So it's like, oh,
Hmm.
this all makes sense. But yeah, my bad.
Okay, no, you're good. I don't know if y'all ever watched Once Upon a Time. I feel like a lot of people fell off when it's once it started getting like to all these extra new Disney stories that they didn't care for.
Uh,
But Once Upon a Time
yes.
really explores like different versions of the characters, so I enjoy that one too.
Yes, I think this conversation turned to something that you did not want it to turn into.
And
Uh,
that's okay, because on the Coco Convo Corner, we just go with the flow, so it's all good.
You
but
go with the flow.
I did watch Once Upon a Time. I watched it up
Hmm.
until child, I think season 4 maybe. Once they started doing like Disney characters, I was like, okay. Once they got away from like the fables and started
Very,
doing
yeah.
like these like Cruella and Aladdin and Elsa and Anna, it's like
Yeah.
okay. Like we y'all doing too much. I liked it better when y'all had Rumpelstiltskin on here and Little Red Riding Hood and stuff. So
Okay, yeah. Did you guys have any other questions or any other points you wanted to make? I did not want to hold you all up for far too long.
Oh,
No, no, no.
I did want to ask y'all if y'all knew about And Courtney, I don't think you've seen Across the Spider-Verse yet, right?
No, I've
Oh no,
not.
I
Okay.
have not either.
Oh, you haven't either. Okay. Well, this
I've
is
seen it
not a
this weekend.
spoiler, but what I've recently learned is that there are actually two different versions of the movie that they're showing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
news.
Yeah. There's this guy I follow on YouTube, or it's like a group called New Rock Stars, and they do like breakdowns and like they find the Easter eggs and stuff. But
Hmm.
they discovered that there are actually two different versions of the movie that they're showing for Across the Spider Verse. And I was actually just watching that before I got in here, so I didn't get the full scope.
Hmm.
But he was given the reference of like another movie that tried that as like a marketing scheme, and it
Hmm.
failed. So they ended up just putting they had it was a movie and it had three separate endings. But like depending on what theater you went to, you saw a
Hmm.
different ending. But people didn't like that; they were upset, so they just kind of like grouped all the endings like together.
What was that?
But
Clue?
to be honest, that could be it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe we'll put it in the description or in a comment or something. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a fun fact. Is that when y'all do see Spider Man, we might be seeing different versions.
I'm gonna ask my
I like the
student.
idea of alternate endings. Like, I like the idea where everyone's like, "Oh, I hate that he died," and they're like, "What are you talking about? He lived." No, he died.
He
No, he
definitely
lived.
died.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
love because I feel like it sparks conversation and it makes you want to go see. Oh, well, let me see what you saw, or let me, which one was the better
But
ending, or what should they have changed?
I think I'll be annoyed because if you saw one ending of somebody dying and I saw another ending of them living, and then I go to the movie theater and I just go and I see the same ending that I saw the first time, I'm be kind of irritated because then it's gonna be like, so now you playing it in my face. So how do I know which ending I'm gonna get?
Have to
And yeah,
Google
he
it,
was
So
saying
YouTube
that
people.
the differences were more subtle than anything. It wasn't
Yeah.
like drastic, like like Spider Man died at the end. But in the other version, Miles Morales, I don't know, saved his life. Who knows? But but yeah, just a little fun fact.
Okay, so something
interesting.
to keep in mind. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for coming and having this discussion. I feel like it spawned some other topics that I'll want to explore in the future. So hopefully you all are open to that. So starting with Jarrell, where can the people find you? What projects are you working on? Anything that you're wanting to share or have people participate in right now?
So you can follow me at Guys Talk To. That's Guys Talk TOO. On Instagram. Right now I'm on a short break. And then coming in the fall semester. Well, I'm saying semester, and in August I will be back with some new episodes. Um, yeah, you can follow me there. For all things related to Guys Talk To
Okay,
in
thank
my
you.
podcast.
And Jonathan, where can the people follow you, or do you have any upcoming projects or businesses that you want to mention?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram at underscore John the Human. That's where you'll see major updates. I actually have a poem that I'm releasing soon. It's called Dear Cell Phone, I Hate You. And it's
Okay.
bars. Yeah. And I performed it
It's
first at
bars.
it's
Cell phone.
bars. Yeah. It's bars. I performed that at our last open mic night. We have me and who I call my auntie. We host a biannually open mic night called the Creatives Cafe, and we're going to be holding that again in September. You guys missed out if you didn't come to the last one, but definitely come through the Creatives Cafe. It's going to be September. We haven't set the date yet, but it's going to be in the month of September. So follow me underscore John the Human and look out for updates. I used to have a Twitter, but I deleted it, so you can't really follow me there no more. But if you want to see some other poetry works, you can follow me on YouTube at just John the Human, no underscore.
Awesome. Thank you for ring. And as I stated earlier, you all can message me at Convo Corner on Instagram. You can also send emails to the Coco Convo Corner at gmail.com if you have any like topic suggestions or ideas or things you might want to discuss. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the Coco Convo Corner. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.